Alright, hi everyone, Soulserver17 here. Let me introduce like usual. I don't own the picture, not a big video. Alright, okay. So, here's the thing. I basically, woke up. I kept waking up multiple times. Like 1, 2, and 3, and I'm staying up at 3. So, yay. Basically, I did not start to make this video right away, but this is my second time making this because of one, I kept pausing a lot in the first attempt because I went to work when I was making this video. So yeah, okay. So let me just explain. Basically though, for Ruby's team, some inspiration that I'm watching about how basically Ruby basically can be better. Just to get a general idea of what could happen. So I am taking some inspiration from that, but I'm also changing, as we all know, some things about Ruby. So far, I only changed basically about Grim, and that was basically it, plus maybe a few other things, but I'm basically changing Ruby's dynamic because of, I don't understand why they had the whole entire, basically, like, Ruby and Weiss basically resolving their, well, I mean, I get it, because they basically were trying to make the series keep going, but I think it would have been, like, good to have some sort of conflict between Weiss and Ruby because of their two different personalities, or two, basically, upbringings, so it would have been good to see that. I mean, when I saw that original, I was like, okay, but then when I saw, basically, about Weiss's, lifestyle, I was like, wow, this is totally different from what I thought. So, yeah. So basically, I'm having Ruby and Weiss not have their friendship made right away. They're still going to be, like, two different people with two different opinions, and just, that's going to be going on for a couple parts in the background. Not much, but you'll basically see, because of, I do think there'll be some conflicts where I'll be just talked to about. I just want to mention that real quick. So, yeah, that inspiration may, kind of like take some ideas from those videos and just, help me with basically the creativity or some guideline how I can basically do it. If I can't think of anything, I may just use that, what I saw in the video and just go from there. So yeah. Anyways, let's get this part 2 started. So, not part 2, part 3 started. So, this is What If I Wasn't Ruby, part 3. Now, where we left off was very simple. I was in an abandoned building, and I just got my claws. I'm working on getting my fists, but I need to basically, consume a bigger or stronger Ursula to get those. And I need to try to figure out which other Grims can give me my weapons for prototype. Now, I went to basically the Emerald, basically the forest where everyone went to for their exam, entrance exam, basically. And basically, and that's where I got it. And I also tested out my other weapons. So, let us basically begin the next day. While Ruby and her team were, waking up and putting up their room, I'm waking up. As basically, I would say, man, 3 to 4 hours of sleep. Huh. Well, I am half grim, so it really doesn't bother me that much, but still, kind of my norm. When I was younger, yeah. Working a night shift basically does be a pain and behind sometimes, but oh well. As you know, I get up and stretch, and there's a slight pop. And then I'm just like, okay, that basically felt good. Being basically sleeping on the floor makes your body stiff. Anyways, let's just basically. I can't find anything to eat. I have no money. I don't want to go out searching for fights. Don't want basically. There's a rumor out there. So let's start reading on basically the history. Well, the history of dust a bit more. Finish that up, then go to the history of hunters. So that's what I do. I finish up the book in roughly 15 minutes and read the book, the history of hunters for about basically until 9 o'clock. So, yeah. Which isn't really, much. But at 9, I'm basically thinking, I wonder if the bookstore's open. Maybe I can go see if it is. It's gonna be. Hopefully, basic interaction will be interesting. I mean, for an ex-member of the Life Fang and all. Tuxin book trade. Yeah. So, I basically get up and I basically type in on the maps Tuxin book trade. Or, well, technically their version of basically website search, and basically then it shows me where it is on map, and then basically I just clicked on it, basically open up the map app. And I'm thinking to myself, I should really basically try to get the layout of the city. But you can't know everything. So, yeah. So I just kind of basically decide to, well, I would say kind of walk there a bit. But then I kind of realized how long it'll take me. It says it'll take me 3 hours, which I'm just like, nope. So, go into an alleyway. I put on my vigilante clothing. They just appear on me after my other clothing gets absorbed. And I look up at the building. I'm like, let's test this out. So, I jump onto the wall and just start running up the wall. And they say, I get on top of the roof and I'm looking down and I'm looking forward. I'm like, yep, all prototype abilities. Gotta love this. As I start running, I jump off the roof and yeah, I continue to roof hop. That takes me a while. Basically, this does take me up to a certain point of time where I would say I would basically, when I get to Tuxin's bookstore, I would basically hear an explosion. I'm on top of a roof across of it. I would somehow hear, well, not hear explosion. I would know that basically for some reason there's an explosion going on because I basically look over to basically the distance and I'm thinking to myself, why do I have a feeling someone just exploded themselves? Then I kind of think, I'm like, oh yeah, probably Ruby in the gang. I wonder. I kind of think about it, I'm like, the Ruby basically animation, well, not anime, but Ruby basically showed, didn't really have that. Then I'm thinking about, while I'm also thinking, then I kind of realized, oh wait, real world, for them, not basically the same thing for, yeah, could be basically, could be different, some things could happen differently, I'm trying to think about them, like, basically Weiss and Ruby's basically, well, everything changes and all. Huh. Well then, that's gonna be quite interesting. So, there is gonna be some excitement of not knowing what's going to happen. This war just got way more fun. As I would jump down to the alleyway and shift back into my civilian clothes. Basically, basically black jacket, red shirt. As I would walk to Tuckson's bookstore with a huge grin on my face. So, to be fair, I would be kind of worried if I knew everything. I wouldn't want everything I would remember from basically Ruby to be actually there. It'd be one more fun if it's a little bit different. Or most of it's different. Anyways, so I would basically, I say, arrive and go into Tuckson's bookstore. As when I enter, I hear someone in the background, basically, I'll be there in a minute. As I look basically at a random shelf, and it's basically says history. It has basically history of Dust, history of Hunters, and history basically of Grimm, and history of basically of Remnant. Which I look at the history basically of Grimm, the Remnant books, and I'm like, I know I probably have a history of Remnant, but this one may be different, because, well, Volume 2. As I bring out the book and I look back to the spine and this is only Volume 1, I absorb it. I'm like, History of Grimm's gonna be quite nice. It's also giving me different species of them. It's not be kind of fair. Before I can think of anything else, I hear basically the door open that goes to the back and I see a black-haired man, black eyes, and wearing an open shirt that was just, say, brown. Yeah, brown shirt. Basically, I'm like, hello. He's like, hi, name's Tuckson. And, well, this is Tuckson's book trade. We have every book, basically, that you ever would know. Which, basically, I'm like, alright. So, you have every book, huh? He goes like, yeah. Do you have any books, basically, on the history, let's just say, of Vale? He was like, of course I do. And other kingdoms. I'm like, nice. What about, basically, I guess, weapon creation? He goes, I believe we do. We have a few books of those. I'm like, cool. Well, I mean, I am looking for basically some things. Plus, I'm also looking for some specific things. Which I go over to the counter and I'm leaning against it as Tuckson's like what? He goes, info. He goes, info? Yeah, I'm new in town. Well, new in the city and all, but I kind of basically need some info. Anything that's going on, like rumors of saying about some robberies going on, some basically people causing trouble, like, I don't know, gangs, criminals, like robbers and such. And who knows, maybe anything else about, as I just shrug, but those infamous fondness, basically people, what they were called? Oh yeah, the White Fang. Because, I mean, I'm sort of interested as I kind of see, or sense, Tuckson getting nervous and anxious, basically. And a little bit, a little bit angry as he reaching towards something. I just, react because of, basically, the Grimm side, as basically my arm basically turns into my claws. As Tuxton see, my whole entire arm starts changing, and then all of a sudden, where my fingers were, now are blades on the countertop. As they say, I'm looking at it, and I see there's a slight red to my eyes. As I'm like, Tuxton, 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 look. I don't want to be causing problems, and I didn't expect you to basically react quickly to that. But here's the thing. I recommend you not doing anything that would risk your life. Got it? As Tuxton looked at my arm and then looked at me, he would ask, just, what are you? Which I would just look at him like, it's not nice to ask that question. When you have someone basically, holding your life in their hands at the moment, so to speak. In which Tuxton will slowly get his arm away from the, weapon he had underneath the desk, or countertop, and I'm basically looking at him, and like, good. As my arm turns back to normal, as I would just sigh saying, I didn't come here to cause any problems, or, any trouble for you. I just came here for information. And, there's even basically another person you can send me to if you're not comfortable with talking to me. You used to be, or are still a member of the White Fang, aren't you? As when I say that, his eyes were wide. He goes like, you know? He was like, yeah. How wouldn't I? He goes, huh? He goes, actually, I can't even tell. Just a lucky guess. As basically Tuxton's blinking, he goes, lucky guess? You said that to me all on a guess? He goes like, yeah, and your actions speak louder than words, so. As he's just blinking and just sighs, he goes like, you. Alright. Got me there. So, kid, which I just look at him. What do you want to know? He goes, as I said, anything we're going on. Gang members acting strange, or just about the gangs in general. That sort of stuff. Which Tuxton will say, the gangs don't really cause much problems due to, some things. Let me guess, working relationship with the cops, they don't cause trouble, the cops don't come after them, and they're able to do their things in the dark. Having necessary evil in the town, right? Well, not town, in the city, which he would not. He was like, but some gangs are a little bit more bold than others. One gang, though, in particular, is acting strange, and that's all I know. Basically, you already know about Roman Torchwick, and the White Fang haven't been doing anything in Vale. There have been some rumors going on saying basically there have been some, there will be some basically coming here someday, but who knows? Which I would nod. I'm like, anything else I need to know? He goes, I'm just a basically stormtrooper kid. I can't really tell you much. Basically, I just would nod, and I'm like, that's fine. Just shrug it off. Anyways, a guy named Junior owns a club, have goons basically with red sunglasses, black suits with red ties. Which he starts blinking, goes like, I know where he is, I never met the guy. I'm like, alright. So, think give me the address then? He's like, sure. He writes down the address and give me it as I take. I'm like, as I get off the counter, I'll move going then. As Tuxton basically looks at me to turn around and leave, and he goes like, hey, kid, what's your name? I'm like, oh? Huh, you're right. Yeah, I gave you my name, I know yours already. He goes, yeah, it ain't fair. So come on, tell me. As I think about it, I'm like, fine. My name is Yami Oni. It's nice to meet you, Tuxin. As Tuxin went on, he was like, nice to meet you too, kid. As I would leave, basically, Tuxin's bookstore. Just give me a minute, everyone. Alright, I'm back. So anyways, as when I'm leaving Tuxin's store, I put in the address onto the map, and I basically do my location to there. So, I would basically go. And, well, I kind of look at the time. It took me, basically, I would say about an hour or so, maybe 2 hours to get to Tuxton's bookstore. Because, the way I was heading was through a busy area, and there may have been some hunters, and I was like, nope. Besides, I want to test out basically this power slowly, so taking the long way around. So yeah, it took me 2 hours to get there. So now, since I don't have no problems, basically, on how far I can go on a jump, or basically, in general, on roof hopping, I'm like, should I just walk there? It'll take me about 4 hours, 30 minutes. It's on the way over town, but a walking distance would... Wait, all the way on the other side of town, almost? Alright. Okay. Alright. Let's just get going. So, basically, that happens. I basically go back on the rooftops and start roof hopping. I'm kind of basically thinking, no, I won't meet them yet. Alright, so, yeah. I basically get to a building rooftop. And I would basically kind of just think, I should probably walk the rest of the way as I would land. But I look back in the maps, and it has a restaurant name. And I'm like, shouldn't this be where a club used to be? When I'm looking at the map. But I'm just kind of thinking, so he owns a restaurant during the day and has a club at night? At least he's making money. It would make sense to see would have that. So, yeah, when I basically do arrive at the place, it's basically a restaurant, and I'm like, well, as I said, at least he's making money. So, I open the door and walk right through, and basically, I guess we could say the reception person that will basically bring it to their table basically would ask, do you have a reservation? I'm like, no. But I'd like to talk to the manager, Junior. Which, basically, he just starts blinking, and he basically says, give me one moment, as they will walk away. I'll wait basically maybe another 15 minutes before Junior comes over. He goes like, kid? Why do you want to talk to me? He's like, well, I'd like to talk to talk to the manager private if you don't mind. Which is you. So, which he looks at me, he goes like, why should I talk to you? I'm like, well, as I see someone basically red sunglasses, red tie, and basically wearing all black, I'm like, isn't that someone that worked for Roman Torchwick? The infamous, basically, thief? As basically, Junior's I lied because I was saying in a whisper where no one could hear me. And then he basically narrows his eye at me. But then he turns around, he sees the guy, and he looks back and looks at the guy. He's like, follow me. With an irritated voice. Well, he would say, like, follow me, with an irritated voice now, and, I would. I walked past the guy, and basically pat him on the shoulder, and I'm like, thanks. He's like, huh? He's all confused. So, it would take a while for us to go into basically Junior's office, as when we get there, I would basically just, well, sit in the chair, but I hear a lock. And I'm like, let me guess. Someone's at the door, and they locked it. As I look behind me, and I see two girls. One wearing a red outfit, the other one wearing a white outfit. I'm like, huh. Well, at least it ain't just one person. As I look at Roman, I'm like, so... Not Roman, I mean Junior. So... Hi. Nice to meet you. He goes, yeah, nice to meet you. Which I'm like, oh, come on. I can't tell the cops. So you don't have to worry about that, Junior. Which, basically, Junior's like, good. I mean, it's alright. I mean, yeah, it's alright. Basically, someone or, well, you disappeared. But it looks like I don't get my hands dirtied. For now, at least. Which I'm like, oh, really? Come, that hurts. Why would you basically get rid of me? As I basically kind of smirk, I'm like, let me guess, too much of a, well, little problem if your upstanding business basically gets ruined? I mean, you have quite a few people in basically the restaurant. Some heavy hitters of basically political people. Right? Which is narrow his eyes as I get figure basically some negativity of anger and basically coming towards me from the two girls and a little bit from basically Junior. As they basically are slowly taking out the weapons as I basically look at Junior who says, so, what are you thinking? He goes like, maybe it is a little bit of a good point to get rid of you. I'm like, oh, you don't want to do that. And if you did, as all of a sudden, basically he just sees the chair flying upwards, well, flying to the side a bit, as he hears the two girls gasp. As what he sees, both my arms change and, yeah, he sees two pointed blades at their necks. As he's like, eyes widening because he didn't even see me move, and I'm like, so, you really want to try to get rid of someone like me? As I look back at him, you can see my eyes a little bit red. As he's like, alright, I get it. As I'm like, good. So I move my basically claws away from them. As when I turn around, he basically sees my arms turn back into normal. As he's thinking, those were his arms? So, I basically get back to the chair, prop it back up and sit back in it. I'm like, to be fair, you asked for that. He goes, what do you mean? He goes like, trying to get rid of me. So I just showed you I won't go down easily. Besides, it's not like you basically could ever harm me. It'd be impossible to. He just narrows his eye. He goes, why? He goes like, now that would be telling. And I don't want to tell someone that could potentially be my enemy my weakness. But let's just say healing factor. Which he kind of grunts in annoyance. Which he's just thinking aura. Anyways. So he was like, alright, what do you want from me? Couple things. Info. And papers. He's like, huh? Just look, I have no papers. I have no, papers of the same my existence. Okay? So, basically, in a sense, I don't exist at all in this place. Or anywhere else. So you may be the best guy to basically help me on that. I kind of realized that last night. I needed that. I can't just be like, oh, yay, I can go anywhere I want. No, I need, basically, if I want to travel around this world, well, around the world and such, I need papers. So, can you help me on that? He's like, yeah. Got the money? He was like, no. That's another thing I want you to help. Well, the first thing, info, jobs, basically. Got anything for me? He's like, what rumors? Weird stuff happening. Gang members acting weird. Robberies are happening, but robbers in the middle of the robberies going missing. Missing people. Weird things with the White Fang or anything about the White Fang. You know, stuff like that. He's like, well, there's been one thing going on weirdly with a gang, but let's get our stuff out of the way. So he will just tell me basically what he will know about from the the criminal underworld that's been happening. And there's no crime without Roman Torchwood because he's a big heavy hitter here. That wouldn't basically know without basically some easily info. So I'm like saying, okay, so Roman would know what's going on with some info just by me doing said. Basically, he goes, yeah. It's like, okay. He goes, anyway, it's about that gang that's been acting weird. I'm like, yeah, what's going on with them? He's like, well, no one knows besides this one other leader. See, the gang basically that's acting weird, it's a small gang. Well, there's basically a higher tier gang, basically a heavy hitter gang, basically. I would say he goes, yeah, that's the boss of theirs is a little bit worried about that smaller one, since the leader's a childhood friend of his, and he wants you to basically go figure it out. Well, I basically offered this too, but he's willing to pay basically a very high price, because he has a bad feeling that his childhood friend is in a little more of a higher situation than what he can handle. Really, because believe it or not, this small game isn't the worst. I don't know what's going on with them, but they help out basically around the place they can. And they basically give jobs to, or at least help make jobs for people that need it. It's kind of one of those games that just help out people. It's like, oh. And also cause a little bit of problems for others, but they don't really do much of that. It's just a group of people that want to help out people. Actually. They can't even be really called, they only are, they can't really be called a game, but since they have the numbers, yeah, I get ya. Like, so, here's how much money he's basically willing to pay. I'm like, 22,000 len? He's like, yeah. But since you don't have no account, since you got no papers, I'll be taking 25%. 25? He goes, yeah. 20. No. 15. No. 10? No. You know how much it costs to basically make fake documents? It's like, fine, deal. So I shake his hand on it. He goes like, pleasure doing business with you. I'm like, yeah. Anyways, what's your name? Yamioni. He raised the eyebrow and was like, weird name, but alright. I'm like, yeah. Junior basically is a weird name, or is that just basically when you give to basically your business partners without telling your real name? He goes, you got right on the money, kid. I'm like, great. Alright. Anything else? He goes, wait, basically, month, October. Date? 30th. It's like, huh. Alright. Year goes, I'm 16. Backtrack. He's like, right. Anyways. Parents? Don't have none. It's like, okay. Well, anywhere else you lived beforehand? He was like, nah. I haven't lived nowhere else, just came here. It's like, oh, huh. He thinks weird. It's like, look, there's not much you can give from me besides just a name and a birth year, and you can make basically something up. Same, I'm from out of basically, Vale and such. My parents died in a grim attack or abandoned me or something. I don't know. Is that what you have to put on the papers? Just parents' names, put down, I guess, some random names and just say deceased or something, okay? Anyways, get the location of the job. It's like, here. He hands me basically a piece of paper. I'm like, thanks. If anything basically bigger happens, will it cost more? He goes, depends. Inform me, and then I'll let you know through, actually, don't even have my number, so. He writes it down, he goes, like, here's a number you can call. This is basically to my phone. Should I just call you Oni? For my contacts for you? I'm like, yeah, sure. Fill you down as boss then. And so I type in the number, put down boss, tell him my number, as he does that. And, I walk towards the door, unlock it, and look at two basically girls. I'm like, sorry for almost basically cutting your necks, but I was trying to prove a point. So, have a nice day, ladies. Open up the door and walk right through and close it. The girl in the red dress will look over basically at their boss and says, was it a good idea to send someone like him out there? Which basically Junior just says, to be fair, I think basically if I didn't, agree and basically try to kill him, we would have been dead. So, do you want to die or do you want to live? As the girl in the white dress says, I'd rather live, thank you very much. It was exactly. Besides, having him as an ally is better off than basically having him as an enemy. He ain't no huntsman. He ain't no cop. That's for sure. So yeah. So basically, as soon as I'm leaving the building, I would type in that address and, go from there, basically. It takes a while for me to get there. But when I do, I would see something strange happening. Alright, give me a minute, guys. I have to go downstairs real quick, because I need to go make my breakfast. Alright, sorry about that. Anyways, so, I was saying I would head to the address. When I arrive there, I see something in particularly weird. I see a van and a truck, and I'm thinking, are they moving locations? Should I just go up and that's when all of a sudden I stopped thinking of that. Because what I see is two people coming out of a van with two other people, but they have bag over their head and they're basically tied up as they basically get into the truck. Or should I say thrown into the truck, which I'm thinking to myself, oh. Please tell me it's not what I think it is. Please. So, I would go over to the truck and, when they're gone, and I would, sneak my way over to it with my vigilante gear on. Black hoodie, gray shirt, mask on my face. And when I arrive to the truck, I, open it up and lift it, see if you have light appear into it, and, I see a lot of people as Well, I would go over to said people, well, one person, lift up basically the bag, and what I see is a faunus. I would see basically, not rabbit faunus, but I would see basically I'm trying to think, because I'm trying to think of something that would not have it, well, just the ears. Whatever, I'll just see a wolf faunus girl. As her eyes widen and she's afraid and a little bit angry as I'm like, holy, oh, please don't tell me this is all faunus. As, she's blinking and she looks confused, I'm like, look, don't worry, I'll come back. I just have to take care of a few things to get some answers, okay? She would nod slowly. So I put the bag back down, and I'm basically looking, and I can see adults, men, women, and basically not kids, but teenagers that basically are hitting like 17, 18. As I just sigh, I'm like, this ain't gonna be good. I better be getting paid a higher price for this if it's what I'm thinking of. So yeah, so I go out, close the truck. Basically, I would see the buildings attached to another building, but I'll look around because I don't want to just go right for the front door as, well, I see a window that's half open. I'm like, good, easy entryway. So yeah, I shift my fingers into, well, basically blades as I slowly climb up the building. I know I could just run up it, but I would slowly climb up the building, and I'm thinking to myself, I really wish I had spider powers, like Spider-Man, just to be able to stick to the walls and climb up them. It would take a while. It would be such more quicker. Well, yeah, sorry, wording. It would be way more quicker and such more easier, basically. So I get up to the window and I slowly open it as I would, peek through and see if there's anyone there, as there's none. So I climb through, close the window back to the way it was, and start walking to the door and open it. And start walking through the building because I was on the 3rd floor. I'll go up to the 4th. As on my way there, I hear people complaining about how they don't really like this part. I mean, they're technically a gang, but, they never really did anything bad besides a few shakedowns, protection money, basically selling, basically whatever basically they would do, and stuff. In which basically our guy was like, yeah, but still, given those basically critters or he goes, yeah, I know. Wait, even though you hate faunus, you don't really like what's gonna happen to them. He was like, yeah. We didn't know after the first 2 shipments until basically the second command told us. He knew all about it, and the boss is furious with him. Told us at the meeting. Now, it's like 50, maybe 70 guys there. Do you think basically they're doing a hostile takeover? Yeah. Should we go help the boss? He goes, which basically, for some reason, you can hear the hesitation, and basically the guy's voice, he goes, I think we shouldn't go. He goes, huh? Why? The boss is being, he goes, not because of that. It's my gut feeling. Something's off. Something's bad's gonna happen if we go to that office. In which, basically, the guy's eyes widen, and he goes like, crap. Your gut feelings are never wrong. Stupid semblance. In which my eyes widen though, and I kind of move. As I'm thinking, okay, information, need to get. Boss guys are getting in danger. Great. Gonna have to kill. Double great. Okay, you can do this. You can do this. This is gonna be your first kill, so I'm now willing to sell people for money. The worst of the worst. Don't think them as human. Think of them as grim. Nothing more, nothing else. Deal with your sickness that you're gonna get from us later. Got it, brain? Got it. Job first, question your morals later. It's basically just to easily get the point off because I am gonna eventually start. Well, eventually I could basically start killing people and stuff. Even though I don't get no memories, I mean, eventually I'm gonna have to. So just get this point out of the way. So, when I arrive, basically I hear them talking. The boss is furious, saying basically how could you do this? We basically weren't basically going to do this. We agreed that we wouldn't basically go anything too serious. As basically say you're not thinking big enough, we could be become such more better, become top of the tier, well, become better than what we are now, and become infamous. And basically the boss saying you change. Basically goes, of course, money means everything, and besides, as somehow I know the boss is basically angry because his emotions of anger, fear, and hate towards the guy is palpable. And that's when I kind of made my move, as I basically clench my fist and throw basically my fist into it, as my fist was basically starting to coil and have basically black and red tendrils start moving around it. Is when I punch it, there's a dent. Then I basically just spin kick it, and it flies off the hinges. Right onto the ground, not hitting anybody. As when they all look, I basically can see all of them looking at me, and look at the boss that's in the sea, and the guy holding his scroll with his weapon out, which is just a big, great sword. Think of whatever great sword you can, but I guess could be a reference to her guts in this one. Not really. I'm just saying, think of a great sword. I don't have a picture of it at the moment because I forgot to find one, but if I did, I probably would have just chosen basically Gus's great sword. The Dragon Slayer sword. But yeah, anyways. As the guy's like, what the? Who? As I basically put my hand out as I take out my sword. Basically, the God Arc, basically. Take out my weapon, I mean. As, my eyes just, narrow at them, and I'm counting 60 people. Alright. Thinking of them as grim. Think of them as grim. As I basically, my eyes narrow as... Yeah. This is when I would find out something very in particular. As... Basically, I would hear the guy says, "Get him!" As every person, that's following him will run at me. I run towards them. And it was just a slaughter. Nothing more, nothing else. Of course, basically anyone who I cut down and any weapon they had was absorbed into my God Arc, while their bodies was absorbed, or basically consumed by me because they died. And, yeah. So there's basically no body part but blood everywhere. As the guy's like, what are you? As I'm just looking at him, I'm like, thinking to myself, they always ask what I am now. The boss is gonna ask me too. So, I just basically look at him, tilt my head to the side. He goes like, you, it's a little. As he basically tries to, swing basically his, great sword. As I cut off both his arms, basically, and the sword basically, flies up. As in all of a sudden I feel something change. My weapon's changing. As I look at it, all of a sudden, an instant, it changes into basically a scythe. It looks like Crow's basically sword scythe, basically. I don't know what the name of his blade's called, but I think it's Ravager, basically, maybe? I'll have to look at it again, but if it's that, then okay, but you know what it is. You know how Crow's sword, it changes into a scythe, and then there's the handle that grows? Yeah. Basically, imagine that, but it looks a little bit twisted, a bit. Like it just suddenly changed, and has black, basically like it has like markings and such on it. As I don't even think, as the guy's just like in shock, as I just swing around, cut him into 2 pieces, as then basically tendrils from my body, grab the body parts and just, consumed as. Now, my sword, well, basically the scythe, then suddenly has a tendril latch onto that and eats basically the great sword as all of a sudden it starts morphing and changing and will turn into the great sword. As I'm just eyes wide, I'm like, holy, this is awesome. As then I basically hold the great sword towards the guy as I just say, money and info. He's like, okay. Not gonna ask you what he already asked, but the question's the same, but got it. You want money and info on what? As I would see a scroll on the ground, I would look at basically what the guy was, the one that the second command. As I pick it up, I'm like, reason why there's a whole bunch of faunus out there in the truck. He goes, the guy that you just killed came to me that we just have a job, transferring basically some shipments to the docks. Docks change every basically time. Only he knew. He took the job without me basically even saying anything. And when I found out, it was just today. So I went down to the truck finally and found out. So, I was arguing with him and, well, as I see the phone still open and it shows a picture of him and a faunus girl together, I would just like, have a look of basically sadness. I'm like, so he was basically using you and, well, what should I say, holding your girlfriend captive. Just, yeah. Saying basically she'll be in a part of the next shipment. Because I'll be dead. He will be, taken over. Which I just nodded and understand. I'm like, so, how do I, as I know, as I get a call, as I basically will try to hear some guy saying the guy's name, as a, boss is indisposed at the moment. I'll tell him basically what, where we need to meet up, but, you can send him a text if you need to. He's like, fine, I'll send a text. Just, because I know you bumbling idiot won't be able to basically remember it. As he hangs up and then send a text message to it, as I would basically quickly take out my scroll, basically with the weapon, leaning on me, as I basically type into the map. When I get it, crush it. Well, his scroll and look at the guy. I'm like, well, he's like, alright, look. Yeah, I didn't want to do this. Besides, I'm gonna disband this game anyways. Which I raised my eyebrow. He was like, he just looks at me. He goes like, what? No offense, but with someone like you around, I don't want to deal with that heat. So, disband the game, find basically people for my men, find a place for my men, and call it a day's work. So, thank you. Don't want to die. Which I just not understanding. He goes, so, the money? Basically, he grabs a bag that's underneath his desk, which I just blink, and he basically would go to a safe and I see a whole bunch of lean cash, and he basically puts like basically some money in it. I would say roughly just to fill the bag halfway. I'm like, and he throws it to me. I catch it, and I put it on my shoulder. I'm like, where's the eyebrow? He goes like, that's the money basically that those guys were taking. Figure I should give you it. Altogether, it was about 32,000. I'm like, 32,000? He was like, maybe roughly, maybe 45,000. Just basically gave you the stack that I knew. Had their names on it. As he smirks, I'm like, it's each bill. Well, not each bill. It's each stack, huh? It's like, maybe. Has a smile on his face. I'm like, oh man. As I basically, kind of basically absorb it, but, go into my mind's eye, see if anything's new, as the only place that's new is money and the medals I got from the guys that I basically killed. And as I look around, and no humans. Nothing at all. I'm like, so they were just converted to magic. Huh. Okay. So after that, basically open my eyes, and I'm like, and he looks at me and goes like, absorbed it. It's basically placed in a location, basically, because I have infinite storage space myself. He just sighs like, I don't understand it. All right. So, I'm like, so since the guy had a weapon like this, huntsman? So I look at the base of the greatsword. It goes, yeah. He was never good with other weapons, besides throwing weapons. So, besides, his only semblance was strength. The more hits he takes, the stronger he got. So it was lucky that you ended him quickly. I'm like, alright, thanks for letting me know. So, no problem. Anyways, get out of here, I gotta basically help my men, find places, and you could really so basically fawn us on your way out. I would nod. Basically, I would walk away, but I was at the door as I opened it. I'm like, oh yeah, by the way. Huh? Good luck to your, lady friend and you. As I leave, as the guy just sighs and like, thanks, kid. Man, you're scary. Gotta tell that guy I'm quitting. Hopefully he won't basically do nothing since, well, I'm sending proof of you. Sorry about that. So, basically, I leave, release the faunus, and I get to the pier. It's like 7 o'clock. And, well, let's just say I count about maybe 10, 15 guys. I'm like, okay. There's a boat, big enough to hold people. There's 15 guys here. And I'm not gonna kill. On my way here, though, I finally name my basic weapon. God Devourer. Cheesy name, but it fits. It's basically, I'm holding basically the God Arc. As in all of a sudden, I changed it basically into the, into Crow's weapon, and then I changed it to the sickle and chain, then I changed it into the Great Sword. Basically, the Great Sword has a little more kick to it. Hold up, everyone. Okay, so anyways, sorry about that. Just my dad wanted me to look at something. Okay. So, yeah, as I said, the weapon has a little more kick to it. As I kind of see, it basically has, took some of the Ursula, basically, I thought, combined the weapon with some Ursula spikes, or, well, claws. As what I basically see on it, it now basically has a little more kick by it. I guess you could say the blade can extend now, which it took some metals and basically and some basically Ursula claws and extended it. And there's a switch now. As I basically hit the switch, as it basically the blade kind of opens up more. Well, basically opens up and basically extends it now. And I'm basically thinking to myself, okay, gotta get a little more creative. I gotta eventually make my own blade. I need a lot more materials. At least I, change it back to my normal weapon. I'm like, looking down, I'm like, too bad I couldn't use the gauntlets. Yang's gauntlets. Basically activated them. Well, have them on. And then I should just basically look at them. Should I give them a new name? Wolverine will do, since then the claws activate. I'm like, yeah, that seems like a good idea. As I basically, says, for now on, you are Wolverine. Choose a name. Kind of claws disappear, but, I think it suits. Says what I turn you guys into. So, as I basically, set my vigilante gear, but, call up Junior. I'm like, hey, Junior. Here's an update of something so far. He was like, huh? What is it? He goes like, well, I'm at the docks. He was like, why are you at the docks? He goes, that's the thing. Turns out basically your client, basically that hired me, wanted to basically understand, his whole entire friend's gain. He goes, yeah. Turns out his gain, as if I'm seeing the boat and I see a symbol, might have been basically hired by the Schnee company. He goes, for what? Cargo, basically delivery. The boss didn't know about it, only basically probably some workers did. Some members of the gang. He goes, okay. What was the cargo? Faunus. As in, he goes quiet. He goes, what? He goes, yeah. Turns out, second command, and if basically around maybe 60 or 70 guys, didn't care about the Faunus. Didn't like them so much. One doesn't, but he doesn't like what happened to the Faunus that he found out. Heard that from him. It was like, okay, where are you now? At the docks. He goes, what are you going to do? Beat the living crap out of these guys? Not kill? Can't leave them all alive and expose, basically, about, the Snake Company? It was, you're just gonna make an enemy out of them. It was, the White Fangs basically made an enemy out of them, and I'm just some guy that basically stopped something that they're going to deny. Who do you think basically they're gonna go after more? Which, he kind of thinks he goes like, yeah, the White Fang has caused them problems, but still. He goes, yeah, well at least, hey, at least basically then maybe there'd be some evidence on them, instead of basically sweeping them under the rug. Which he just sighs like, just be careful. I'll let basically the client know. Got it? He goes, yep. Bye. Hang up. But I scroll away. See the guy is basically about to get on his phone. Me. Smile. Back up basically a couple steps back and they're like, 1, 2, 3. Run over, jump up the building, and, well, I wanted to land basically right in front of the guy. And, well, that's what I do. Almost actually hitting him, knocking him down, but landed right in front of him, and because I immediately elbowed him as he basically gets flung while having his scroll up in the air, catching it, put it in my right pocket, then looking around and basically seeing a whole bunch of goons, and I just tell them, with the come here motion. And yeah, let's just say this, no fine style still, but still, kick the living crap out of everyone. Punch, throwing people off of me, over me, jumping up in the air, spin kicking, basically throwing another punch. No bane because of no, ammo. And, well, basically, they're definitely coming back up, and I keep on basically punching them harder. Basically, stronger punches. And now they're getting knocked out as the guy gets up. He's like, ugh, my stomach. And he just sees me basically knocking out one dude. So I just stump my, basically, foot on the guy's head, knocking him out. And I look up, and the guy goes like, useless idiots. So, what happens is, he basically gets out 2 batons. I'm like, 2 batons. As in, they have electricity on them. I'm basically near the front of it. Which I'm like, with lightning. Well, electricity on them. Is he trying to basically be a Nightwing ripoff? I'm thinking to myself. As, he comes over to me, he basically tries to hit me. You see, he has a lot more experience, and this guy is a hunter, but just I would say, a corrupt hunter / a basically, one that has been, not been on the field, but one that basically just came out of basically an academy. As, I'm thinking, okay, he's good, strong, but looks like he's inexperienced just like me. But I have the one thing advantage. I got faster than what I once was. I get stronger every time I consume something. And I consumed a lot at that place, at basically that game's place. So, as then I basically catch the guy's arm, twisting it, make him drop one of the batons, punch basically him, he basically steps back a bit, And then, he jumps back when I try to kick him, holding one of his baton, as basically there's electricity going through it. And I'm thinking to myself, lightning dust? Or something. As, he growls and, tries to rush forward, says, get back my, basically weapon, as he tries to swing, dodge, basically punch him in the elbow, basically where the joint part is, where we bend, and he drops it, grabs it, and I see kind of the hands now closely. They look like they're attached to each other, and there's a weird part where basically the metal, basically, there's a circle, and there's basically something holding it. I'm like, wait a minute, because his hands were covering it, so I didn't know. So obviously I put them together. He's like, "Hey, what are you?" As suddenly the two batons turns into a freaking, double barrel shotgun, and I'm like, a boomstick. I looked at the guy. He says, "Hey, give out my weapon!" He tries to run over. I jump away from him, and I'm like, I can use this. As they say, somehow I mentally basically think basically the weapon could combine into two, since like the chain and sickle, as long as it was attached to each other. As I'm just like, huh. So I have an evil smirk underneath the mask, and he is about to grab the weapon, and all of a sudden, it gets consumed by me. He was like, "Bye." But as then all of a sudden, I just punch him in the face, knocking him out. As I basically grab the scroll and I look through basically contacts. Yeah, it says, Schnee, basically the boss's name, Weiss's father, and then basically even the text message from him. I just smirk and I look around. I go over to the boat real quick, and I find basically the captives. The people that are, in cages and such, and I just grimace. I'm like, I really hate you. I think it's Josh Schnee. Anyways, I got them out, but I called up the cops too before that. But after I got everyone out, not the cages because I carry those, I tied up all the guys and got the cages, and went back to basically the boat to find whatever blankets I can and bring them over to it. I handed them everyone basically a blanket, and I'm like, alright, so, cops are on the way. Hopefully they don't mind you. But, if you need to, just hide, alright? Which they would nod. And so, basically, I, look at each one of them, I just say, well, see ya. As basically I'm about to walk away, as someone asked me, hey, what should we call you? As I'm just looking at them, I'm just like, call me whatever. I only basically did this just to, as a job, but glad I could help you guys. Hopefully, and I mean hopefully, your life gets better. As I just, not run. I start walking away, and then I just kind of take a jog, and then all of a sudden, they see me run a bit, and I just jump up and, jump all the way up top of it to a building. And I just kind of left from there. And after a while, I just took a few steps where no one could see me. About 45 minutes, about 10 minutes later, the cops are there. The faunus did hide a bit, but when basically a detective basically, a cop gets there with a detective, as the guy says to the cop, call the chief. We got a problem. As he would nod, as, let's just say the guy's cursing up his breath because of one reason. He knows basically there are going to be some people that's going to try to hide this information in the department or the police station here. But him and a couple of cops did not basically go and follow basically who's going to try to pay them off. As the chief was calling and such. Let's just say this. When the chief arrives, he tells everyone to try to find, basically after reading the messages, try to find the faunus, as one of them would appear, and then the whole bunch of rest says. The cops that are there, I would say this. Yeah, they have some disgust towards faunus, not like them, But basically, though, they see how they were, and they basically don't care. It's their job. I'm saying these cops are there doing their job. It's like basically like three cars are there with about 2 cops in each car. So, 2 cops and 1 detective in 1 car. I mean, no wait, 2 cops in basically 2 of the cars, police cars, 1 cop and a detective in another one. As the chief of police came down himself. So yeah, basically, ambulances are on the way and such, and I kind of took a video of it, and well, and I sent it to Junior. Now though, we go to Beacon real quick. As Beacon has, on his pin, as he's looking at basically the video of basically the Sigils Academy basically break-in. As Glinda comes in, she goes, "You want to see me, Ozpin?" He goes, "Ah, yes, Glinda. Come in. I want to ask you, what do you think of basically this?" As he shows the video. As basically she basically looks at it all and says, "Huh. What is this about? A break-in?" "Yes, to Sigil Academy. Well, Signal Academy, I mean." She goes, "Wait, what?" He goes, what she does says, "Yes, someone broke into it. Stole something. Quite a few things. Prototypes. Prototype weapons, actually. One of Crow. A newest, basically, student. And a weapon of one student that did not make it." But she goes, "Who's the student's?" "Yang's weapon. Yang Xiaolong? I think that's how you pronounce it. Give me a minute." As basically her eyes widen. And she goes, "Again, what would he want from those weapons?" Which she says, "I do not know. But he basically broke into it. Took something and left. Maybe, took some things and left, and yet there's no indication of said items on him when he was leaving. But he did basically he did injure a couple of basically teachers there." Which she would not. He goes, "Should we look into him?" He goes, "At the moment, no. I think it'd be too early to basically do that. But we should look out for him. I just hope he doesn't, individual does not take or any actions basically that could cause him to be on our radar, or anyone's radar. If so, then we will have quite a problem." Which she will nod. Now, back in with the Schnee Company office, head office, as basically Weiss's father gets a phone call. He goes, "Yes, what is it? I'm busy at the moment." As then he hears basically the gang leader, that he had hired, basically, as he was told, by the subordinate that the gang leader didn't know, and he was told to finally give basically the number to him. So he's calling. He's like, "Oh, so you finally called me. What took you so long?" He goes, "Are you basically the guy that you hired? And basically nearly got nearly died." He goes, "Oh, hostile takeover." He goes, yeah, look. Here's the thing. I ain't basically helping you no more. Okay, there's something out here in Vale that's worse than the Hunters, worse than the Grim, and I'd rather face the Grim than that." He goes, "What could be so worse? Are you afraid of some, commoner individual, Hunter?" He goes, "Hunter?" Here's a video, as then he basically sent the video of what I did. As, Weiss's father looks at it, and he just starts sputtering. He goes, what is that thing?" He goes, "I don't know. But here's the thing. I'm not going to be doing anything bad. I'm not going to basically be a gang leader no more. My gang's basically be disbanded because that thing, call it, could have killed me, left me alive. And I'm basically not going to want to die by it. So, yeah. If you want basically fondness, get them on your own. And face the consequences." As he hangs up. As Weiss's father ends up and Sai says, I wouldn't want to try to, cause him problems, but he has a good point with that. I'll give him that much. Hopefully, because of this, nothing bad will happen. And that's where we're leaving off, everyone. Hope you guys have a nice day, night, wherever you are, and bye.